I brought some toys.
Of course. Why not? Oh my God.
Why, it's Luke and Obi-Wan and my favorite Chewie. They're all here.
So for those who can't see, these are beautiful laser disc album art. Oh my God.
The whole trilogy with that beautiful original cover art made popular on the VHSs. And they've got cool inserts too. But it's not like they have special features or anything. It's just the movie. And each one has 2 discs with multiple sides and all that. It's a weird format.
Flip it.
You gotta flip it. Look at this thing.
It's hard to believe. Isn't that analog? Like it's an analog signal on there.
Yeah, and it's low res, and it doesn't. You can only seek backwards and forward. It's not like there's chapter marks or anything software driven like that. But I think they did store more than a VHS tape could. So even though the resolution is kind of equivalent to VHS, the video signal seems more steady. Like you're not dealing with tracking or anything like that. And the sound seems a little bit better. I could be fooling myself, but the sound does seem better than VHS for sure.
It's that like THX sound.
A couple of years ago, Nina bought me like Clerks, the Disney Peter Pan, Forbidden Planet, a few others, like a little Laserdisc collection, because she had heard me say, like, maybe I would collect for Laserdisc. She was like, why do you care about Laserdisc? We didn't have one as kids. We're not nostalgic for it.
Help yourself, mates. A chest full of video discs.
No!
Oh, what good are they? Can't record on them.
They're not compatible with my system.
And I was like, it's just the album art. It's just so cool to have something this big that's a movie. And I love the size of the disc.
Yeah. It's like my brother-in-law, he collects records just for the art, and he frames them and puts them on the wall. I mean, it's kind of a similar thing. I
probably would just buy the album art if it came to it, and just watch the movie some other ideal way. But I because she bought me the collection. This was maybe 2 years ago. I bought a player, and they're of course big. Everything about Laserdisc is big to accommodate these discs. And I got one that was a combo DVD with Laserdisc, and it's quite loud. When you put in a Laserdisc, it's like chunk, 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 chunk. So you want to get the player away from the TV, ideally. And like people aren't really collecting for it yet.
That's weird. I would think so.
Yeah, it's not like they're available in huge quantities because it was such a short-lived medium. But this was for the whole trilogy on eBay, $50.
That's not bad at all. For movies that you'd like, I would, especially the Star Wars trilogy, you'd think that'd be more expensive.
And I believe that this collection right here, in addition to maybe the CED releases, which are essentially the same, I think that this is the highest quality non-special edition that exists that's commercially available. Officially as good as you're going to do. And yeah, I have to say, you can't beat Harmy, man. For those who don't know, the Harmy despecialized editions, this guy, is he Russian? I don't know. Swedish? Scandinavian? I have no idea. But he took, he went on this journey through all, the televised version of the Star Wars trilogy from this period of time, and the Laserdisc, and of course the Blu-rays, and, all to try to create a faithful despecialized version. So none of the special edition changes, but also the Blu-ray release had strange color correction, for instance. So he's trying to get you out of that.
Yeah, it's like a magenta.
Yeah. A magenta, and everything was cooler. Everything was a little more blue.
Yeah, I think he even somebody got a print of the movie, and they took a picture of every single frame with a DSLR camera.
What?
So that they could, do more magic with it.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
It's in that I don't know, it was they put out a documentary about it in 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was covered in that. I think there's even more stuff they did since then, but at the time I was like, it's amazing how many sources he pulled from, or they pulled from, whatever this group was, and how they assembled the most getting rid of all of the strange arbitrary decisions.
And so, every now and then people will be like, well, now that Lucas is out of the picture, why doesn't Disney just go ahead and release them? And I suppose the question is well, maybe they don't exist. I bet you they don't, I bet it doesn't. I bet there's not an archival HD available version of those movies. You'd have to make one, and they're not going to make one because the only reason you'd make one, the only way you make money off of it is if you have a healthy DVD and Blu-ray market out there, which you don't. So, because you putting it on Disney Plus isn't going to do anybody any favors.
I heard there is like some weird rights issues, but I don't know if that's an old wives' tale. You never know. There's some.
Oh, like maybe George said like, sorry, like you don't get the despecialized versions or something.
Yeah, or like Marshall Lucas would have to get paid or something.
God forbid. Did you know this? This kind of captured my imagination that Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones were released on VHS. Revenge of the Sith never was. So if you wanted a complete 6-movie VHS collection, it's not in the cards. Or I think maybe they overseas they did one.
Yeah, that's interesting because I remember I got Phantom Menace on VHS when it came out.
Yeah, same.
And then I don't even think I bought. Oh wait, no, I did get Attack of the Clones on DVD. Even though I was supremely disappointed in that movie, I did end up getting it. And then I don't think I bothered with Revenge of the Sith.
It looks like maybe it was released in Korea or something. I'm not sure, but I think that's a fun, because there's really no good reason to have Revenge of the Sith on VHS except to have a complete VHS collection.
Yeah. Although it's a little bit heartbreaking. What if somebody wants a VHS collection?
You're like, now that I think about it, this is pretty sad. On the topic of Star Wars, since we're talking about their lovely laser discs, there is kind of big Star Wars movie news. We haven't had a Star Wars feature film since 2019, pre-COVID. Remember I think the last Star Wars Celebration or something, they were like, all right, there's going to be a Rey movie. There's going to be some kind of James Mangold Knights of the Old Republic movie. There's an untitled Taika Waititi movie. Still, maybe that he swears you're going to hate. And so we're very excited about that.
There's like a Ryan Johnson trilogy they're quiet about that is probably canceled.
They said, I think she did say like, that's not scheduled or something.
Yeah.
It was like, she didn't want to say it was canceled, but she was like, not doing it. And then there was like a Dave Filoni, some kind of Mando-verse movie. It sounded like it would be something that would wrap up the plot lines of like Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett. That's what it sounded like.
That's what it sounded like to me.
But now it's like, no, they're definitely doing Ahsoka season 2, and they've announced plans to do a movie called The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's the movie's title, as to be directed by Jon Favreau, which is kind of cool. But I don't know, like season 3 leaves a rotten taste in the mouth, doesn't it? Something fucked up happened with season 3.
And there's something about this announcement that just feels like desperation, Well,
I mean, it came right on the heels of all this bad press about the director of the Rey movie. It's just like another tired like activist director who doesn't seem to give a damn. And everybody knows it. And it's just like the pattern is so played out. Like they just had the worst year of their lives, Disney. And they're still like, just like doing it again. Just like double down, put everything on black.
Yeah. She's like a documentary filmmaker, right? And she does like,
this is what they do, right? They try to, I think they go to like Sundance, but they go to like major film festivals and they're like, who's I don't know. Yeah. Like who won like an Oscar for like documentary short, and can they make our cash cow franchise movies?
It's like, can they like direct minimally during dialogue scenes?
That's totally what it is. I remember when I watched Black Widow, that really struck me, where I was like, okay, the non-action sequences feel like they were directed by an indie filmmaker. I happen to like those sequences generally. Like the family one sticks out. It's really the only thing I really remember about that movie.
That's the only thing I remember. It's not then the action... Taskmaster.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm sure she'll be back. And then the action sequences all seemed like they were prevised, planned in advance, planned by the group. And the director there of the Eternals, she seemed like she was really like displeased with the whole experience, like really unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be a trend.
So the Rey movie is going to be like I don't know, they're just going once again for like they're like, so why should you be excited about the Rey movie? And it's like, because it's directed by the first female to do this particular job on a Star Wars. It's like, but we've had female directors on the shows. Like that doesn't count.
And finally, there'll be like strong females in Star Wars, and they say stuff like that, and you're just like, but haven't there always been?
I remember the first 5 minutes of the first Star Wars movie. The first protagonist introduced, human protagonist introduced, was a strong female character. But whatever, I can't wait. It just blows the mind. It really does.
Yeah, it's like repeating all the same mistakes, and there's no stopping it. It just seems like they can't stop, and they will not stop, and they can't. So that's why the Grogu and Mando thing seems like, I don't know. It's like
shit.
Yeah, we got to do something that people like. Maybe we haven't ruined this yet.
Yeah, it seems like we have a little, but not enough. We're not through with Grogu. Yeah. I mean, I like Jon Favreau, and if he's really directing this movie and he's going to be more or less left alone, like, I don't think Dave Filoni's a good director. I don't. I think he sucks at it. I think he has valuable input in the Star Wars process, but I don't think he should be left in charge of like the filmmaking of it. I don't think he's cut out for it. I think he's given too much credit, this Filoni guy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I've seen enough of his cartoons and Ahsoka to know he shouldn't be given full reign. Yeah. And maybe Favreau, he has a story he actually wants to tell with this. I feel like he was absent in Mando season 3. Even
if he doesn't have like something he really wants to express, normally he brings something to the table. Normally he brings some freshness or some intrigue or some, I don't know, just like a creative angle to, like movies need creative magic.
Yeah, because I heard he was basically bribed with a bunch of money to do Lion King. And I mean, he put a lot of effort into that thing. Yeah. I saw the behind the scenes, and he at least had a cool technical angle with it. Whether or not it was ultimately successful is up to the viewer. But I definitely could tell he put passion into it, even though he basically was given a lot of money to be convinced to do it.
Yeah, I don't hate that Lion King nearly as much as the average person does. And I'm not clear on why the average person hates it. It seems like the reason is because it brought nothing new. It was just the same movie. And so that felt cynical or something. But I just do think that there's something valuable about like, wow, look at flawless animal CG. Fucking flawless. and it's like, well, but if it's flawless animal CG, then they can't really emote and express. And it's like, yeah, I respect all that. That's true. But it is pretty cool that you just brought Africa to life, and all these animals. And I thought I had moments.
And then like Favreau, he like rigged up the technology so you could actually move a camera in like real space to try to capture the action. Like,
and then he basically inspired the creation of the volume. And so, and Jungle Book was pretty immaculate too. So yeah, the guy, he invented Iron Man, he invented Grogu. I mean, this guy is to be contended with. He's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Even if it is a desperation, move, it's interesting. I'm interested in what Favreau comes up with.
Yeah. It's hard to miss that. And plus I have watched 3 seasons of the show. Like I'd like to see if it goes someplace interesting. And for a theatrical movie, you have to imagine that he would want to pull some kind of new stop out, something special about it. I'm sure.
No. And a lot of these Disney Plus shows have been just stretched out movies anyway, so
yeah, right.
This will be good to just be a movie.
There was a long time ago in like 2000, there was a wrestling arc, a wrestling story where Triple H married Stephanie McMahon, which then happened in real life soon after. And the whole thing was that like because the bad guy married the boss's daughter, they get to like take over the entire show. And so the heels were running the place and, and it made good fodder for the good guys and stuff. I remember eventually that led to a feud between Triple H and Mankind. Some of my favorite pay-per-views, but I remember Mankind came out to like stand up to him, and they were in the Triple H is in the middle of his, delighting in his regime, and Mankind comes out and he goes,
I'm here tonight to tell you flat out that I think the McMahon-Helmsley era kind of sucks.
That just has lived with me. So I'm here to tell you that the Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni era kind of sucks.
I always loved it in like Royal Rumble when Mick Foley would come out as every single one of his characters.
That's great. That's great, including Mick Foley himself. Yeah.
It's like Dude
awesome.
Love comes out and you're like, yeah!
It's a real cheat. You get 3 chances. Still loses, of course. Don't worry, he'll lose. To button up the legacy media talk, which I suppose every week there'll be some kind of update. It seems like I just keep adding on to this thing. But I ordered, remember, so to recap for people, my PVDF 2002 TV, combo DVD and VHS player, didn't come with the native remote control. So, get a combo one. Okay, no problem. Or, get a universal, I should say. And so I ordered what I thought was the model that it was supposed to come with anyway, because I just didn't want to take a chance. And in comes, I ordered it from remotehounds.com. They do like Carnival cruises and hotels and whatever. They just have every remote apparently. And so I ordered that model and they sent some other universal remote, just a totally different one. I contacted them. I was like, what the hell is this? They were like, we don't have the original actually. So we sent you that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And so it worked. Like you can change inputs, you can power it off and on, you can do volume. Just about everything about it works except for the arrows that would help you navigate menus, including DVD menus. And like before anybody says anything, yeah, of course, like I press the DVD button and the troubleshooting has been comprehensive. So I went on eBay. By this point I was like, oh, now I know the exact model number. I'll just, make sure I get that off of eBay. Takes a week and a half. Dude sends me one that's like one model off, same exact problem. It can power on, off, volume, channels, and you cannot Google for solutions to fixing TVs from 2002. It's not in the cards. I actually went to Walmart and bought a universal remote. I thought I'd just buy an $8 universal remote and see how far I get with it. I had no luck. I couldn't even program it. It worked immediately with like a Roku TV nearby. But it was really for modern televisions. Everyone, you joked last time, you were like, so you spend $300 on a remote? It's like, dude, every time there's one of these fuck ups, it's $20, and I'm not gonna bother with the back and forth. And I asked the guy, I emailed them and was like, what's the deal? He's like, I found it at a thrift store and I'm selling it online for $20. Like, okay, so I see where your life has taken you. Are you showing up at Goodwill, buying up all the remotes and selling them on eBay?
It's not a bad way to go, really.
I guess not. I'm just counting on the fact that there's people like me
who'll buy 20 of them. So
I was like, could you like take a picture with it and show me that it's the model? Maybe put a newspaper with today's date next to it or some shit. But anyway, that should be coming in any day now. Hopefully that'll fix it, because it's just a bummer. I can't watch a DVD on it, or I can't navigate menus. I can navigate, like on a DVD menu, if let's say there's 3 options, there's like play, chapters, and special features. Well, when you author a DVD, you're like, okay, play is 1, chapters is 2, and special features is 3. So you can use the numerical pad and be like 2, and it will go straight to, so you can kind of hack it a little bit, but you have to know which button is which number, which of course is not transparent, and you end up getting the wrong one and stuff. But yeah, I was having fun up there, one of our movies I was using I don't think I put in the standard def DVD of that since I authored it. And on a little 20-inch CRT television, I was like, this movie looks good on a CRT. This might be the way to watch this.
That's awesome.
Very forgiving.
Did you see the Batman TV and DVD player I put on Discord?
That was awesome.
Like, I didn't know that. Well, I've seen that Batman TV before. It was actually local at one point. That one was too far away, the one I posted. But I've never seen a DVD player, a matching Batman DVD player with it has like the remote control looked like a batarang.
It was awesome.
Like, if it was local, I probably would just get it just to talk about it.
I think it was like $350. So the cost of a pack of false graph. Hey, check it out. It works. It just needed the right remote.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.